That's what I thought. I'm always making messes. Well, as you can see, I am once again decked out in my fancy work attire, because today we're going to tackle a little bit of maintenance on the Pioneer 1005. So I'm going to do this in two parts. This is going to be part one. We're going to tackle changing the oil and the oil filter in this guy. And then part two will be changing the front and rear differentials. So enough me gabbing away here. Let's get to work. So for part one here, we're going to go ahead and tackle doing the oil change. It's the thing you're going to have to change most frequently, so you might as well go ahead and do that first. Now I like to get the oil change kits right off of Amazon because it comes boxed up with all the oil you need, all your filters. It even comes with a little paper funnel here that'll allow you to fill it easier. And plus, with my Amazon Prime membership, I get free shipping on this kind of stuff. So if you want to order this kit from Amazon, I will make sure to leave a link in my description below. That'll take you right to the page to order it. So the only things you're going to need to change your oil is a 12mm wrench or socket, a 10mm wrench or socket, something with a point, be it a screwdriver, like I'm going to use this valve stem remover that'll enable you to get the plastic pins, which I will show you when we get to. Of course, you need your oil. I use the good old GN4 Honda oil, the 10W30, and your filters. There's one oil filter and then a second filter here. Now what the second filter is for your dual clutch transmission. And as per Honda's maintenance schedule, your sub-transmission oil only needs to be changed every couple years. And since they recommend you replace that every couple years, what I like to do is every time I change the oil and the oil filter, I go ahead and change the DTC oil filter as well. Now I'm going to do my best here to try to show you how you get to these drain plugs, because we want to be careful. Remember, I just mentioned that you only have to replace the sub-transmission oil every couple years. You don't want to inadvertently drain that thinking it's the oil and run it dry, because the engine oil is separate from the sub-transmission oil. So let's see if I can do this very well. Here's the front of our machine. And we're going to go underneath here. I'm going to blind you by our light. And of course, you see we have our holes in our skid plates. That's the front of the machine. That's the back. Now you see here we have several slots. You'll see we have a slot, hole, slot. This slot right here is one of our oil drain plugs. There's two. There's this one here, and then you'll see we have another hole and another diagonal slot. This is our second oil drain plug right here. There's two of them. Now if you see here, this one that's in front of our other two, stay away from that one. This is for our sub-transmission. Now luckily, this bolt is a bigger bolt, so you can't use the same bolt to take that one out. So that's one way that should help you remember that that's the one we stay away from, because it's not 12mm, it's bigger. So if your 12mm socket doesn't fit on the bolt, don't unloosen it. Alright, so I'm going to throw my drain pan underneath here. I do believe my drain pan is big enough, it is, that I can catch both oil drain plugs. So once we got our oil pan in here, we're going to go ahead and take the bolts off. Now the reason why there's two drain plugs, one is for your oil tank and one is for your oil pan. It has kind of two separate ones there. I'm going to start back here with my oil tank. That way I can adjust this. I splashed all over myself. And we're going to come up in here and loosen the bolt for the oil pan. Again, staying away from this one up here, which is our sub-transmission oil. I have a feeling this is going to want to shoot out all over the place. That's what I thought. I'm always making messes. While this drains off, we'll go ahead and go back up top and we'll start to uncover our oil fill hole. Now keep in mind on the 1005, the oil does not go in the check hole. You check your oil in the rear driver's side passenger's footwell down here. But the oil fill hole is underneath this center hump right here. And this is where you need your either a screwdriver or like I'm going to use this valve step remover. Because what we got to do is remove these little push pins here. And the way these work is you actually take and gently push in the center. I don't know if you can see that. There's a little center mark there. We're going to push that into it clicks. And then once that's pushed in, that'll lift up out. So we'll go ahead and push that one in. There's one over here. There's two down here on this side. And I think that's it. And you can use a screwdriver to pop these guys out. It makes it a little easier. I just don't have one handy. Let me go get one. There we go. Much easier. And then this panel lifts off and out of the way. And once the panel's off, right there is your fill hole, which has oil written right on it, just in case you're not sure. And by the time we get that popped off of there, our oil is drained. So I'm going to stick my plugs back in. And both plugs get torqued to 22 foot-pounds. Somebody likes to get oil all over. His name is Jason. You guys know if you've done an oil change before, that's kind of an inevitable thing that you're going to get oil all over yourself, the ground. Although I really kind of overshot my catch pan, but clean her up later. Alright, let's move on to the oil filters. So thankfully the 1000 is a little easier to get to the oil filters than the 500. If you've watched my oil change video on the Pioneer 500, you know you have to take the seats off, you have to take a couple body panels off, or plastic shroud pieces off that's under the seat. The 1000, however, they're kind of right here in the open. Here's the front of our machine, here's our rear wheel, and right in here is our oil filters. We have the one on the top for our engine, and it is actually labeled ENG for engine. The smaller one on the bottom is our dual clutch transmission, and it is labeled DCT right on it. These bolts are 10 millimeters, so we simply need to clean this off a little bit, pop the cover off, take out the old filters, put the new ones in. Alright, I think you guys can see pretty well. So we're going to do the engine oil filter first. It's on top. Again, these bolts are 10 millimeter. And you will lose a little bit of oil out of here when you pop these guys off, so have a rag ready. Have your catch pan under here ready. Take a little bit of prying. You just want to slowly wiggle. Again, you don't want to just rip and tear because you don't want to lose track of that spring. Oh, it's missing, of course. And the spring fell. What a mess! Oh, let's see if I can find that spring. Oh, I got it! So there's the spring. And remember what I said about not losing that or dropping it? Of course, that's what I did. So learn from my example. I'm just going to take my cap, wipe off some of this old oil, inspect my O-ring grommet around there, make sure it's free of dirt, grime, and not tore or kinked anywhere. And you see this right here? This is where that spring goes in. So your oil filter will go in, then the spring, and then the cap. And one thing that's critical with these oil filters is they do have to go a certain way. You don't want to put them in backwards. Or drop them in your old oil. Come on. But if you look, I don't know if you can see how that says outside towards filter cover. Pretty much makes it foolproof. We'll go ahead and Push that in there. I got the spring setting in the cover. Find the top. Remember the letters E and G goes in the top. Push her in place. Now that spring will want to cause it to push back on you. So you kind of have to hold it there until you get your bolt started. And you guys can't see this because it's off camera, but I got a big old spider staring me right in the face. And then you want to torque all these bolts down to 9 foot-pounds. And then it's just repeat for the DTC filter. Again, I think there's a little spring. That one stayed. You don't want to lose it. Pull it free. Pop the... And this guy, if I remember correctly, is a little tricky to get out of there. It might take a pair of pliers or a screwdriver to get it popped out. Use a set of pinch ring pliers. Get right a hold of it. Pop her out. As with the oil filter, this also goes one way. If you see here, the one side is labeled outside, this side in spring towards filter cover. So it's going to go straight in this way. Spring's going to go in. This has a little better offset, so the spring will actually stay in a little better. Once we get this wiped off a little bit, make sure our O-ring around there. Yes, I drop a lot of stuff, got me some slack. It's hard to film and try to get a camera in there and get out of the way. You should really see the awkward angle I'm at right now. Anyway, the spring goes in that little recess hole there in the cover as well, so make sure it sets in there. Push her on. Again, you will have to hold it in place because the spring will want to push the cover off, and you don't want that. So we'll hold it in place there as we get the bolt started. And oh, and these get torqued down to 9 foot-pounds as well. Pop our fill hole cap off. Insert our little paper funnel that came with the kit. And fill her with oil. Now when you're replacing both filters like I have, it's going to take about 6.12, somewhere around there the book says, to completely fill it. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 quarts of oil. Sorry, you guys know I have little kids, so I get things like Sesame Street stuck in my head all the time. Hey, at least it's not a Disney song I'm singing this time. And if it bothers you, maybe you should just let it go, let it go. Sorry, I won't do it again. Alright, so I'm going to stop here at 6 quarts for time being. I am going to start it, let it run, make sure we get oil through all our filters. And then we will check, see how much we have, and if we got to top her off. Now again, the oil check dipstick is here in the rear driver's side passenger's footwell. You'll see on your machine that there's this little rubber flap here. It just lifts up, and there is our oil check. One thing to remember when you're checking your oil on your Pioneers is you don't want to fully screw the dipstick in to check it. So we want to pull it, wipe it off, and then just stick it in until it hits. Do not screw it tight. Just push it down till it touches. Pull her back up, and we need to add a little bit more oil. And real quick here, guys, I want to show you how you reset these to put these back in. These push pins on your cover, real easy. You just want to push these back through so that it's actually sticking up, which is weird because you push it down to release it, pull it up to put it back in. Anyway, stick her back in the hole, and then Push down the center. And she's good. And that is that. Oil change is all done. When all was said and done, it took a little over 6.5 quarts to completely top that off. Again, that's with changing both filters. But again, not a project that you cannot handle yourself. Make sure you keep an eye out for part 2 when I'm going to go over changing the differential fluid. Also, don't forget that you can help support my channel by buying your very own Appalachian Mountain Rider t-shirts and Appalachian Mountain Rider decals by going to AppalachianMountainRiders.com/shop. And until next time, keep on riding. Appalachian Mountain Riders is brought to you in part by the following. The Honda Side-by-Side Club, because who knows the machines better than the owners that use them every day. Walker Evans Racing. When the path requires more than just ordinary, head on over to WalkerEvansRacing.com. Torque Locker from Torque Masters Industries. When you want to explore the unexplored, head on over to TorqueMasters.com. And by my gracious supporters on Patreon.